So this video is just a quick introduction to the product life cycle, what it works, what it means, and how it works. So key thing to note with the product life cycle is that it is showing you how the sales of a product change over time, not anything else, not revenues or profits or anything like that, just looking at how many units a company is selling of their products. Now, time, when I show the diagram in a sec, there is no particular time scale here. It could be very, very short. You think about clothes, they're going in and out of fashion all the time. So the time period for that could be just a few months. Whereas there are other products that kind of feel like they've been around forever. Things like the classic products like a dairy milk bar. It was launched in 1905, over 100 years old, and sales are still in the millions and millions. So it can be a really, really long time scale or a very, very short time scale, just depending on what product you're looking at. So the all important thing with this is this diagram. So there are, as you can see, 5 key parts of the product life cycle, and they're labeled along the horizontal axis on this diagram. And then the vertical axis, like I said earlier, is showing you the sales of the product. So first stage is the development stage of the product. You're coming up with your ideas. You are inventing possibly a new product or a new recipe for a food item, designing new clothes, whatever it might be. But pretty much here you've got no sales because obviously the whole point of it is you're developing this new idea. So that's why you can see here sales are effectively zero. The second stage of the product life cycle is the introduction stage, and that's where you introduce your product to the market. You start selling your product. You might maybe do some test marketing to start with around the early part of the introduction phase. People are just getting to know your product, just starting to see it. Awareness is starting to grow, and you can see that the sales are gradually increasing through this introduction period. Stage 3 is the growth stage. This is where you should see the steepest increase in your sales. And you can see a very rapid increase in sales in the growth phase. This is where it becomes your product becomes really, really popular. Loads of people are buying it. You've got loads of sales. It's the talk of the town. It's the latest must-have item, and so the sales are going through the roof in that growth stage. Stage 4 is maturity. So you get this, as you can see, the sales are slowing down and becoming fairly static in the maturity phase. You've got the situation where most people have got your product already. It's quite well established in the market. It's quite well known. If someone's already bought it, they might not need another one. Obviously, that doesn't always apply to things like our dairy milk chocolate bar we talked about earlier. But you're at that stage where you're quite well-known company or well-known brand. You've got lots of sales, probably not going to be able to see rapid increases in sales because lots of people have already got your product. And then stage 5 is what we call the decline stage. That's where your sales start to drop. People lose interest in your product because it's no longer fashionable, if it's things like clothes, for example. Or a better product has come along that has replaced your product. The iPod and more recently the iPhone replacing CD sales, for example. CD sales are definitely kind of at the end of the decline stage, really. And like I said, this varies depending on what product you're looking at. So like I said, clothes, every season new styles, new fashions come out, and every season clothes kind of go through that sort of process from 1 to 5 on the product life cycle. You've got things like our Cadbury's Dairy Milk Bar. That's been around the maturity stage for decades now. It's still the most popular chocolate bar, or one of the most popular chocolate bars in the UK. I think it's between Dairy Milk and Kit Kat, which is the most popular. I'm not quite sure. But both of those products, Dairy Milk bars, Kit Kat bars, those kind of things, they're at this maturity stage. They're not going anywhere. They're not really going to decline, not really rapidly growing either. So there are some products that are big, popular, successful. Heinz baked beans would be another example of that. Heinz tomato ketchup, they're in this sort of stage. Nothing really exciting is going to happen with those products. However, if you are, as a company, if you are in the situation where you're starting to see your product enter the decline stage, you might want to do something about that in order to so that what happens, instead of going down, that you start to go up again. And what we call that an extension strategy. Now, the classic example of this is Kit Kat. And when they started to worry that perhaps the classic Kit Kat bar might be going to decline, they launched Kit Kat Chunky, which a new product, a different product, appealed to customers and was very successful. So sometimes you've got to evolve your product. You've got to adjust your product to meet changing consumer tastes, consumer preferences, and that's the kind of thing that we'd call an extension strategy. So that's basically what the product lifecycle is. It's those 5 stages: development, introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. And then what you need to think about is how you can categorize different products, where they're currently at on that product life cycle. Think about a product, think about what stage they're currently at. Then if a product is entering decline or is kind of about to enter decline, think about how that company might try to come up with some extension strategies to prevent that from happening.